So I want to welcome everyone to our next session here, our tech shop on Brightspace Basics. As we get started here with the new semester and our kind of big launch of most of our sites being in Brightspace, we just want to give everyone just some pointers and tips on how to navigate your site, navigate your courses, and help the year get started in a great way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you have any questions, we're going to take questions a little later, but you can also put them in the chat. So this is our Shepherd homepage. At the top, we have our quick links. You can also find these. Some people I've noticed are using their phone to get to the Shepherd homepage. The quick links don't always show up very well. Sometimes you might have to turn your phone at an angle to get that widescreen view to see the quick links. Let's see here. I'm going to add some people to our list. There we go. So to get to Brightspace, we've added a link here at the top. We also have our Sakai link still available. This will be the last semester Sakai is around for us. Some people are still using Sakai. If you do want to use Sakai for your courses, just contact me or IT work order, and we can make that available to you. But we are encouraging people to jump into Brightspace and kind of get involved with that. Again, in December, we'll no longer have access to Brightspace. So I'm sorry, to Sakai. I misspoke there. So if you do have data inside of Sakai, you kind of want to get that out of there. We have migrated the past year's courses. Just tonight, I'm going to be finishing up that process and also going to project sites as well. So you do still have time to get your data off of Sakai. But again, that Brightspace link is listed here at the top. It is the same login that you have for your Office 365, your email, and so forth. Let's make sure everyone can join. Okay, so now this is our Brightspace page. It is similar to a Sakai in the fact that there's your instructions at the top and where you can find your courses and so forth. To reset your Brightspace page at any time, you just click up here at the top left where it says Shepherd University. At the very top here, you'll notice this little icon here. If you hit select a course, you can click on it, and it's going to show all the courses you're a member of. Since I'm an admin, I can see all kinds of things listed here, but you may only have 2 or 3, maybe your sandbox and maybe your fall courses. And that's okay. The longer you're in Brightspace, the more courses you'll have available. You can also pin them here to keep them listed at the top. This area here is where you can get your notifications. If there's changes in your course, or if people have inside the forums, let's say they've subscribed and people have added certain features, this is where you would see those. So typically you're going to see a lot of these during the semester, especially the notifications area. Over here on the left, on the right, I'm switching my left and right today. This is where you can show information about yourself. If you click your name, you can change the view that you have. In this instance, you can view as a learner. In Brightspace, instead of students, we call them learners. And instead of professors, they're instructors. It's just kind of a different terminology, but that's what Brightspace uses in all their instructions. So we decided to go ahead and keep those terminologies. This is also there where you would change your profile picture, and you can change your notifications and different account settings, basically how these things look inside of Brightspace. If you click on notifications, you'll see you can change the way you get your alerts. If you scroll down here, you can get an email, or SMS refers to text. If content's changed or grades have been changed, this is how you and your students can, or your learners in this case, can kind of decide what type of notifications you want. If you want to get a notification if anything happens, you can check them all, or if just certain things are happening, like an assignment and so forth, and you can do these choices however you like. But you always have to hit save at the bottom. Now, I did miss something at the very top here. I did want to show you. This is the Pulse app. This is more generated for students, but you can also install it as well. You can get it in the Apple Store or the Android Google Play Store. It's a great app for the students to look at. They can see their courses, notifications, and it's just a great way to keep up with their courses. I would not encourage them to necessarily take their exams through the Pulse app, but it's a great way just to, and everyone's using their phone, swiping left and right, up and down. This is the Pulse app here. If y'all can see it, it's pretty handy. So the first day I would encourage you to tell your students about that, just so they're aware of it. So the main part of navigation in Brightspace is our nav bar. Yours may look a little different just because you're not necessarily an admin, but you're going to see things like the quick eval, maybe your locker, tutor.com, that type of thing. The quick eval, that enables you to grade items that have not been graded before, not just in one course, but in all the courses at once. So let's say you have a section where you're teaching English in 3 different courses. Instead of going to each one and grading, you can click quick eval, and it's going to go to each one, and you can kind of knock them out a lot faster. If I click here, I don't have anything that needs grading, so it might necessarily show up anything here, but it's going to show them all in your courses as they come up. Tutor.com, if you're not familiar, that's our 24/7 tutoring service that we subscribe to. You can put that in any course if you like, but also it's our main homepage area. Also, you're going to find all these different widgets on your homepage. We have an announcement widget. These are just general announcements that go out to everyone. Also, there's a lot of information listed here on the left for instruction. This is for our YouTube channel. The CTL puts out all the different trainings we've had. Also, these are things from Brightspace themselves, that YouTube links and so forth. Each of these videos lasts about 1 minute to 2 minutes. Let's say you have a quick question on how to create an assignment or how to upload your syllabus. You can just go to this link and go to that YouTube playlist and find the video you want. And they last only like 1 or 2 minutes. So you don't have to sit through hours and hours of a lecture or of a tutorial just to find out if you have a quick question. Also, there's another way to find your courses in this My Courses widget. Now, I have a lot of courses listed here. You may, like I was mentioning earlier, only have a few listed, and you can always pin them and you can sort them by term code and so forth. Now, the students, they may have some here that are grayed out. What that indicates is they are in the course, but the course is not active yet. And the courses sit active by certain dates. And that's listed in the course offering of each course. When we get to the courses, I'll show you how you can change that and make it active for the students. And there's also a calendar widget set up just to kind of help you keep track of things. And again, this is the same widget or the same homepage that everyone is seeing. Now, if we want to go to an individual course, again, we click on our icon here. Looks like a little waffle. I'm going to pick, let's see here, this upper division poli-sci course. It's just a demo, but so this homepage may or may not look the same as yours. You do have the ability to change your homepage per site. If you scroll to the very bottom, there's some 3 icons here where you can click and you can edit your homepage. You might not have the manage homepages, that's more of an admin function. But let me check out the chat here just for a second. The question is, do we have to individually publish, or can we choose the eye icon for students to see their content? Well, in the overview, you do have to make sure your course is active, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But then to make certain content individually available, you can hide that or unhide it depending on that little eye you may see inside of Brightspace. And we'll show you a little bit of that later once we get going inside of the course. So this is a typical course. It has a title here and some homepage widgets and so forth. But right now at the top is where we want to focus. This is our nav bar. Very similar to Sakai, where you have the tools on the left. All your tools are listed here up here on the top. And for our first term in Brightspace, we decided to have these to kind of be a constant. That way the students get used to it. Everyone gets used to the main tools and so forth. In the spring, we're going to kind of open this up so you can delete certain tools or add tools as you see fit and organize them and so forth. The main tool we want to jump on right away, though, is content. Actually, first, let me show you. There's also a course admin, very similar to Sakai when we had the site editor. If we go to course tools and course admin, this is where you can change the dates that it's active. I want to make sure we don't forget that type of thing. All your tools are listed here you can use, and you can explore them at your leisure. There's some I'm going to go over today and some more you can kind of explore with, and we'll go over with on later tutorials. But right now, first, let's look at the course offering information. That's mainly going to describe when the course is available to you. It does have a name. Currently, the name isn't available to be changed off of the admin side. But if you scroll down, you can see that there's the start date and end date. By default, all the courses are set to have a start date of the beginning of the semester and an end date at the end of the semester. So if you didn't do anything to this area, it would automatically become active on Monday, the start of the semester. But let's say you did want to change it to a date that's earlier. Like this one I changed to be the 18th. Then it's going to end on the 18th. So I probably want to change this to a different date. This way, sometimes people like to have their students or their learners in this case, just be a little bit more like to get a head start, that type of thing. But sometimes they're not ready to have the course active yet. So you definitely want to have it active by the start of the semester. That's why it's set there by default. But again, if you want to change it, you just want it to be active all the time, you could always uncheck it or change the dates. Now, if you notice, when I click these or I made any type of change, this became blue. Anytime you make a change in Sakai, or I'm sorry, in Brightspace, I'm going to be doing that a while, making that mistake. Anytime you make a change inside of Brightspace, it's going to require you to make a save at the bottom here. And that's why this blue light here changes, just so you are aware of that. So now we're going to go down here and hit save. And now whatever changes I made to the date will now be active. And that's basically the main thing I wanted to show you about the course offering information. So now let's check out the content area. The content area is the main part of your course, where you're going to have the students go to for weekly areas. We're going to create your modules where you can all connect your assignments and everything and put it all together. The very beginning is the syllabus area. Now I've already added a syllabus. Basically, you just click in this area or drag the file over and then it loads. One thing that I really like that it does is it shows the syllabus right here inside of Brightspace, or they can also download it in two different areas here, or they could print it. So before, sometimes you would just have an attachment, or you would all you have to copy and paste it inside of Sakai. But here it's kind of all there for you. If they want to save it as a PDF, they can also hit print and save as a PDF as well. If you need to change your syllabus here, you can always remove the attachment and change it there. Now let's take a look at the other features of content. Bookmarks is just what it is. As you go through your Brightspace page, if there's certain things you want to keep going back to, you can always bookmark them. Course schedule generally has to do with, if you have things that are due today, tomorrow, that type of thing. That's all that really refers to. And table of contents is really everything inside of your site. Like I have these 4 weekly modules. It's going to kind of show you all of them listed. You can expand them or you can collapse them all to look like this, more organized fashion. So let's check out what week 1 looks like. So I just kind of made up a week 1 example. I added this assignment. You can always change the name here. You can edit your title. If you're going to move your modules around, it gives you the option to move down here. But what I would suggest is to just do it over here. You can switch this down to week, switch up your weeks. If you have certain topics you want to go forward, if you're just creating as you go and you mix up your weeks, you can always move them back around here. And let's see what we have in week 2. I added an external learning tool here. Let's see, we have Brightspace Basics, an intro page, discussion topic. So let me show you how to just add a module and we can start adding some content. We'll call this module week 5. And it's just an empty module. You can add different dates. So it's only open at certain times. Let's say you're not ready for them to look at that particular module. You can have a certain date so it opens up then. If you want them to just be able to go through all the modules on their own, you can have no dates. It's really up to you. You can add a description here. You can add files right away. But what I want to show you right now is where it says upload and create. That's where you're going to go to create things to put inside of your module. So it gives you lots of different options. You can upload files like attachments, video or audio files. You can just create a random file, and I'll show you that in just a second. Create links, add from manage files. Manage files is kind of like the resources area that you had inside of Sakai, but it's not really accessible to the students. So you want to put all your information kind of in these modules so they can have access to them. You can get something from the LOR, which is the learning repository. It's something we're just exploring now. It's more of a central location that people can get information and share it with other professors and so forth. There's SCORM packages. SCORM are things like certain programs we've used, like the employee respect course. This is how that was added. And if you want to add new assignments, checklists, discussions, and so forth, if you click this, it'll take you to the assignments tool and you can create your assignment there. I'm going to go over that in just a little bit later. So this is how you would add new things. But I mentioned this area where it says create a file. If we choose create a file, what it does is it creates a whole HTML page. And that's a place where you can kind of start out and share your content, share links, and to share lots of different text. Throughout Brightspace, you're going to see a lot of these different rich text editors you've seen in other places. Just like Word and so forth, you have all these different options. It adds more options here, even for math equations and so forth. If you need to copy from Word, that option will be there. But also it gives you the option to add pictures and links, insert all kinds of different things. This is when it's very handy though. It's called Insert Stuff. If you click Insert Stuff, it lets you add different files from your computer, shared files, again, the learning repository, but also you can add something called a video note. You can record video right inside of Brightspace. You don't have to use Zoom or Teams or something like that. If you click add a video note, and if you would hit record, it would go ahead and record your video right there. So you can put little messages inside your course. You can record mini lectures right there inside of your site. It's not letting me record here because I'm already using my webcam, but that's what it would typically do. I would suggest go ahead and testing that out. See, it can be a lot of fun. It also creates a lot more interaction with your course. Even if it's a face-to-face course, it can be very handy. Also, there's this option to create a template. Lots of them have been provided from Brightspace for you to use. Basically, you just click on the template you want, and different options will appear. And that's all done with HTML code. Basically, you can go in here and you can change what you want. You can change the different text here. Just type what you want. And then once you're done, You just hit save and close. Oops. So it requires a title here. A lot of times in Brightspace, it's going to stop you if you don't include a title for a lot of the pages. So we'll just call it intro. Now we can hit save. And I already had another one called intro, but we're just going to go ahead and create a new file. So now we go back down to our week 1 or week 5 area rather, and we'll see the intro page has been loaded. Now, if you want to add more content to this particular module, we can go and create new things again to upload and create, or we can go to existing activities. Existing activities is things you've already created, like your assignments and so forth. And some of the LTIs are listed here as well on Cengage and Sage. If there's other LTIs that you need to use, for example, McGraw-Hill, you would click on External Learning Tools. Those different options will pop up here. There's the Pearson one, Revell, Trudeau.com. We have one for Labster that's loaded a different way. iRubric. And we are working on getting the RP Now tool loaded. I'm meeting with them tomorrow to get that all squared away. But let me show you what that would look like. Let's just do the Tutor.com one. It's that simple. One more extra step. You want to go here and click this icon. And you want to click where it says Edit Properties in Place. This is going to enable it to, once you check here, open up in a new tab. Most of the LTIs work better when you open them up in a new tab instead of inside of Brightspace itself. Oh, yes, we have a question here about moving content from one site to another. Yes, we definitely can do that, and I will show you how to do that right now. And just to summarize in our content area, this is how we move our create our content. Just go to upload here to create new things, and our existing listed here. Now, to move content from an old site to a new site, what we want to do is first go into our new course. I'm going to come back and go over a couple of these items, but now I want to go to my new site I want to move data into. So I have my new test site here called Rich New Test. And currently it is empty. If we go to our content area, you see there's no modules, there's no assignments, and no quizzes, that type of thing. So the way you import to get from an old site to a new site is inside of your new site, you go to your course admin. And then you want to find the import button. And that's listed here under site resources, and you click import. There's lots of different things you can import, but for now, the first option is the one you want to use. Copy components from another org unit. An org unit is just another site inside of Brightspace. So now you want to search for the course that you're going to take data from. So a new one appears, and I'm going to go ahead and hit search. Or I'll just type the word old. Let's see what happens. It's a Rich Old Test. I just check the box, hit add selected, and wait till it connects. Now it says this is the one I want to take data from. Now I could either copy everything or choose select components. If I choose select components, it's going to give me the option to, well, I'll just show it to you here real fast. This is where you can get very granular. You can choose to just copy your content, just course files, just discussions, just assignments. Let's say you just want to move one assignment to another course from another, or from one to another. This is where you would click assignments, pick individual, and choose whichever assignment you want. In this case, I'm going to move everything. So I just check this box here, and everything is checked. and I hit continue. Now it's going to give me the option to, if I want to modify something, kind of go back. It's also going to give me the option to change the dates. Let's say this course was from a year ago, and I just want to change the year. It's giving me the option to kind of change those dates, so it's a little simpler. I think this is a great feature, but I still would recommend going back and confirming all your dates are the time you want them, all the assignments and the quizzes, just so you make sure that it's exactly the way you want to set up your site. And then you hit finish. So I've done this a couple of times. That's why I have a couple transfers in my history here. It's going to say on the right here, copying in progress. So depending on how big your course is and how many files you're moving, will decide how long that takes. So I didn't have a lot of files. As you can see, it's already finished. You can choose to copy something else, review your data, your dates and so forth, or you can just view your content. So let's check it out. Remember, this course was empty. All right, so now we're in our site. We have our week already set up from the other course. All this information was loaded from the old course. Now it's in the new course. When we click on assignments, we see there's one already listed. And we have our quiz. And we even have a discussion. And that's basically how you import from one old site to another. Remember, you start in your new course, go to course admin, click import, choose your old course, select your components, and then move them over. So let's go over here and check out a few more of these tools at the top. Let's check out the assignments tool. I did a quick question. Yes, you can delete modules. It's very simple. So we go to content listed here. First, you have to choose the name of the module and have that pop up. Click here and scroll down where it says delete module. It's going to give you the option to delete what's in it as well. That's really up to you how you want to do that. Do you want to remove just the module or remove all the things inside of it as well? So that's something to be aware of when you're deleting modules. I'll say cancel there. Yeah, so we just have another question in the chat. At the top there is our class list. We should be able to see who's in our course currently. This is a test site, so I'm not sure if anyone's in our course. Let's check it out. There's no one in this one right now. I just use this one to transfer sites and so forth. Let me find another course that might have a student listed. Let's go back to my poli-sci course. I think that was here actually. Our class list is like our roster. So we click on that and we can see I have one student. And you should have all the different students listed in your page. You can click on the student. You can see lots of information. You might not have as many options as I have, but there's one that's pretty neat. You can click on edit accommodations. If this is a student that needs accommodations to have more time with their quiz, those types of things, you can do that here. That way you don't have to create, before in Sakai, we would have to make a copy of a quiz and then change the times and so forth. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just change it right here. With assignments, there's a way to do that inside of the assignment as well. The term code for this semester is 2021-30, just so everyone's aware. So let's check out the assignments tool real fast. Yeah, if you edit that person, it does affect the quizzes for that one person for the semester, definitely. So I've already created a lot of assignments in here. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new one. So you can see what that procedure is. I think they made it pretty easy, pretty explanatory. Again, you see this asterisk, that means it must be named there. Let's try, let's see here. This is called assignment number 5. I don't remember how many I have, so we'll just call it number 5. Right now it's not graded, so let's click grade. So now it's going to go to the grades area, and we'll make it out of 100. Choose a due date. Let's say September 8th at a certain time that evening. And in here is where you can give the instructions for the particular assignment. And you can also do those instructions by adding an attachment, adding links. You can also record audio message giving the instructions, or record a little video kind of demonstrating something you wanted them to do for the assignment. It's really up to you. You have a lot more options than we did inside of Sakai. Now, something to remember is that we do have to make sure it's visible here at the bottom. By default, it's not. It's kind of like a draft. So we have to click this to make it visible. Now, over here on the left, there's lots of options listed here. We're just going to go over them just very briefly so you can kind of get a quick taste of what it looks like. This first one deals with the dates that it's available. This is the start date when it will open up. Let's say the 25th. And the due date. Let's say it's actually due on the 10th, or the end date. So it's due on the 8th, but you're going to let them have 2 extra days in case they need to get it in late, that type of thing. It will mark it late if they haven't turned it in, but it'll still take it. But after this date, then the assignment will be closed. If you do need to add a release condition, you can do that. Release conditions are very neat features where you can have the student needs to access a certain area of content, or they need to access a certain area on your Brightspace page in order for them to do this assignment. It's kind of an if-then type thing. And there are lots of areas inside of Brightspace that allow you to set that. So you can kind of really create the flow of your course. In other words, they need to watch a certain video or read a certain text to be educated on that before they can do the assignment. You can set that up with their release conditions. This is right here is where you can also set up your manage special access. If you have a certain student that needs extra time, you can create it right here. You just click on the user's name down here. This is the only student that needs it, so you can change the dates just for this one student, that type of thing. So that's the available dates and conditions. Now, submission completion has to do with what type of assignment it is. For example, do you want them to just upload another attachment? That's what you would use for file submission. If it's going to be in this text box you see in front of you, that's the one you would pick here. If it's in class and you want them to return in a paper, but you're still going to kind of grade it inside the assignments tool, you can use the on paper. Or if it's something they do in class that you just observe. One thing I did notice, though, inside of Sakai, you did have the option to have to be attachment and or the text box. Here, it's either one or the other. You can't do both. Also, you can create groups with the group tool and then have certain assignments in certain groups. If I had a group set up here, this option would be listed here. So if it's a file submission, you could have unlimited number of files, or you can have just one. How many you're going to keep, and so forth. And under evaluation and feedback, you can add a rubric or manage your learning objectives if you want to add those types of things. One thing that's very nice here is they have annotation tools. Once they submit their assignment, you can look at it, make notes and so forth with their tools that are built into Brightspace. If for some reason you're having anonymous marking here, you can click that. And also there is turn it in integration. You click manage turn it in. Once you check this button here, it's going to integrate this assignment into the turn it in system. So whatever As you can see now, it's going to connect to Turnitin. Whatever they do there, it'll be sent to Turnitin and come back with a score inside the assignments area. And if you click more options here into Turnitin, you can adjust your settings. If you've turned it in the past, it's very similar to the way that works. Check out the chat here. Is the rubric visible to students? That's actually a good question. I think it would be. There may be a way to, I don't have one loaded here, but we do have the iRubric tool that a lot of people are using as well. And that is one of the LTIs that's loaded. I can check that out there to see it. Maybe you can, let's see the options here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here's where you can make the rubric visible to students or where you can hide it. So that's a great question. And that's the assignments in a nutshell. We have some other tutorials down the road that kind of maybe go into more detail as to how all that works. And we'll just go ahead and hit save and close. And you see our assignment 5 is listed here. This little icon in your list of assignments shows you that it is attached to the grades area. Okay, so our discussions is very similar to forums inside of Sakai. The forum is just a box that holds your topics. So when you go here, you can click on new topic or new forum. You can create different forums for different things and so forth. My suggestion when you get started is just to create one that says discussions or class forums, and then put all the topics inside of that. But just make sure if you do have multiple forums that they must have a topic inside. So basically you would click new and just hit new topic. So we had a quick question about the assignments. So the assignments themselves are kind of designed like for essays, for like short answer questions, term papers, those types of things. So that was something that you would have to grade manually. The quizzes do have automatic grading for things like multiple choice and true false, those types of things. But the assignments themselves are things that kind of have to be graded by hand, so to speak. And so this is how you would create a topic. If you had multiple forums, you would choose the forum. It needs a title. You can make it anonymous if you want to do that for a reason. You can have a moderator. Let's say you want to be careful certain conversations aren't inside the topic and you want to moderate that. It will take a long time to moderate all the different topics, so that's something you have to keep in mind. This one is checked a lot because people want to make sure that the students are posting something before they can read other people's posts. That way, what they post is their original work, and they're actually putting a lot of thought into their threads and so forth. So typically that's checked as well. Let's see here. Let's call this topic 10, because I know it will not be happy if I don't have a title. So restrictions. Oh, I must check a form as well. There we go. Restrictions are just the like the dates. If you want to change the dates and so forth. You want to unlock the topic, have it locked. You can connect it to your grades area. This is where you would do that. You would have to actually create the gradebook item though. This is one thing you would have to do, add the rubric and so forth. And these are things you can explore as you go inside of Brightspace. And we'll hit save and close. And that's basically discussions in a nutshell. Quizzes. The quizzes and grades are more complicated areas inside of Brightspace, but I'll just kind of give you a quick overview. I've created a lot of these already. You know, some have this little symbol that means they're attached to the grades area. This means it's hidden. If you click here, you can make it visible to students. That's something you have to check before your class starts to make sure they're all visible. Or maybe you don't want them all visible yet. That's really up to you. You kind of have to figure that out and see how your class progresses. But basically, you want to click new quiz here. Have to give it a name. Let's call this quiz number 10. And you can, this is basically kind of, if you want to change the description of the quiz, like the look of it and so forth, you can disable certain things. Just remember, they can always go to their phone. So certain things won't really be that useful disabling here. But this is where you add your questions. On the left here, it's going to have the add button, and you can just add new questions here. You can also import them if you have them from another file, like a Excel sheet. There's a certain format it must be in though. And if you click upload file, it's going to give you an area where you can see what that looks like if you want to format them. If you had them already loaded from a question library, it's kind of like a question pool that we had inside of Sakai. And I've migrated some of those for some professors. If you have questions about that, we can do that maybe at another time. But just to create some regular questions, I'll just show you what that looks like. There's true, false, multiple choice, those types of things. Short answer. Fill in blank is here as well. I know in Sakai you had to be exactly right. Here it does give you a little bit of a leeway, like uppercase versus lowercase. That can be kind of handy. There's ones for math questions and so forth. But just so you have a quick look at what it looks like, we'll click true and false. Let's see here. Shepherd is located in West Virginia. True, false. Now you notice as I'm typing it, it's actually creating a preview over here. So you can see what the question will look like for the students. And you can assign your points and you just hit save. And that's question one. And you can kind of just go through and add your questions that way. You can have different types of questions. You can create sections to separate them, all those different types of things. So now let's go back to our quiz. So that's one question. You can continue to add them as you go. But also if you want to add your restrictions, basically that's the time that it's available. You can hide it right now. It's hidden from users. You can uncheck that. Change your dates and add it to the calendar if it has certain dates. And again, so I changed something and went blue. So I have to remember to hit save and close. You have the option for those release conditions. And here's where you set your time. By default, it's set up for a recommended time limit. But if you click here, it's going to enforce that time limit. So it'll actually shut off after this time limit's over. It even gives you a grace period where it kind of warns the students. So it's kind of a neat feature. And here's for special access. Again, you can add here to add certain users to give them more time, depending on their certain needs. If this sent you an accessibility letter, that type of thing. And for assessment purposes, click on assessment. If you want to add it to the gradebook, you have to hit gradebook item, and then it'll create an item inside of the grades area. You can change the number of attempts and to calculate how many, like the highest attempt or an average. That's where you would find those particular options. And you can also add the objectives if you want. If you've created those, this is where you add those types of things. And it just hit save and close. And let's see here. This is week 5. Looks like it's visible because this icon is not here. And I did not add it to the grades area, so that's not listed. You would have this symbol if it's in the grades area. And grades is just listed here. And this is where you would see all your grades listed, the ones that have been added. The grades area can be kind of complicated. We're not going to go over that right now in this certain tutorial, but you click up Setup Wizard, and kind of go through the setup process. You can set up your scheme. If it's a 10-point scheme, that's what's set by default. I'm sorry, the percentages are more set up by default. If you want to set up a different scheme, you can go here and create one. Like certain departments have a 7-point scheme. That's where you would set up those types of things. You can export your grades here. This is also a place where if you want to export your roster as well. For some reason, the class list doesn't give us that option, but if you go to export, what you would do is you can export grades and so forth, but if you just uncheck the points and so forth, and just click on the username, last name, and so forth, uncheck all these, then you can export your whole class list, your whole roster if you like. You can export it as a CSV or Excel. So that was a lot of information we kind of threw at you here. So I'm just kind of going to open it up here to take some questions. Let me kind of get back here in my content area and check our chat. Great. Yeah, someone was asking about the particular scheme. And again, you can change that inside of your quizzes area. Or, I'm sorry, in your grades area. So, okay, yeah, you can open up your audio if you like. You want to ask questions. Continue to add them inside of the chat. It's up to you.
Oh, one question is, let's say I have many files in the resources in Sakai, or I can save in my other drives. So then how can I have a wholesale upload? Or I just upload to the table of content. Can I do that?
Definitely.
Or how to do that? Yeah.
So what I would suggest
to the content, sorry.
Yes, that's okay. So in Sakai, we had kind of the resources area where people would, so to speak, kind of have a resource area where people can quote unquote dump their files so everyone has access. What I would suggest is going down here and making a module and just calling it resources.
Okay.
And once you have that module there, right here, there's an option that says drag files here. You can perhaps just kind of minimize here and then drag files over.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And drag them one at a time, or you can drag groups.
Okay.
But it does take much larger files than it did in Sakai. This was just a simple text file, but typically it says you can drag up to sizes up to 2 gig.
Okay.
So that's a lot larger. The whole sites for Sakai, each site could only hold up to 1 gig, but this can hold, it doesn't really have a limit. So, okay. But the file itself per size is a lot larger as well. I know in Sakai it was only like 100 meg or 50 meg or something like that. This can be a lot bigger. So.
Okay, so and the file dragged in, do they, let's say they're named alphabetically. So at here will still be aligned alphabetically, something like that.
Yeah, in this case, it's not going to necessarily sort them, but you can easily, let's say if I drag another one here, let's see if that's what it did. Yep, it just lets me drag them back and forth. I didn't even have to put anything there. And let's say I didn't put them in the right order. You can just move them up and down.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes it a lot simpler that way. So.
All right.
I know in resources you couldn't really move them around very easy. So this way it's a lot easier to move your files around.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So I have a question here. It says, if I'm conducting a hybrid course, will I receive a login code to share with my class prior to our initial hybrid or synchronous class? So what type of login code are you referring to? Are you referring to the course itself, or is there like a certain LTI that you're using?
I'm actually referring to the course itself. So, I'm just really trying to figure out how I'm going to do like 4 or 5 synchronous courses. So I'm trying to figure out how I get access with my students to do that synchronous course. Is there some sort of code that is provided for that specific course?
Well, all the courses, I'm sorry, okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying all the courses you can have to be synchronous or asynchronous. It's really up to you if you're meeting in person or if you're meeting online.
Right.
What I would do is I would, definitely communicate them either with the announcements or just with email, letting them know we're going to meet at a certain time. If you want to have a live video, you can still use Zoom. There is a tool inside of Brightspace we have not explored a lot, but it is called the virtual classroom. That is an option you can check out, and it's in the course tools or course admin, I believe. A lot of people are still using like a Zoom link. They can post their Zoom link inside their content area and say, everyone join at this time, and post that link out. If you do want to meet in person, but you're meeting remotely, that still is an option for you. You can use Microsoft Teams, but still have all your information located inside of your Brightspace site, but maybe post the link here. You can even share Brightspace while you're having your Teams or your Zoom meeting. So you have a lot of different options. But to share with your class, that code, I guess what you're thinking about is the Zoom code, whatever format or whatever system you're using to have your class. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that does.
Oh, great. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So, any more questions?
Just one more, Rich.
No problem.
Once we've completed populating Brightspace, all of our information, how do we then now? Mine right now is in the sandbox.
Okay.
You help me out with that.
Great.
So how do I move my information from the sandbox to the course itself?
Okay. So what I would suggest is going to your new course, the fall course.
Yes.
Let's see. For example, I did it with this new test course here.
Yep.
Let's go with, I'll test with, I don't know. I don't want to mess other people's sites here. How about this test 2?
Okay.
So just imagine this being your fall course.
Okay.
What you would do is you would go to the, let's see here. Where is it? Your course admin, whether it's in course tools or it's just listed up there. You go to course admin.
Okay.
Then you want to go click here where it says import. Now, there's lots of different things you can import here. This is one way I used to create sites and so forth, but you want to check this first option here. It says copy components from another org unit. An org unit is just your sites.
Okay.
So you're in your new course and you click where it says search for an offering. What you want to do is search for your old course. And in this case, you're searching for your sandbox.
Right.
So I'm going to search just my name here and see what pops up. I have my sandbox listed here. I'm just going to check that and hit add selected. And now it's just going to pop up. It's going to pop up right here. Now, if you want to move everything in your sandbox, you can just hit copy all components. If there's only certain things you want to move, you would hit select components. And then it's going to give you an option to pick and choose what you want. In this case, I'm just going to hit copy all.
Okay.
And then it's going to go to this page where it's going to say it's processing. And depending on how much data you're moving, it may take longer. That's all.
Right.
It's also going to give you the option to review and manage your dates.
Okay.
So let's say maybe it was from 6 months ago. It's going to let you have the option of moving those dates automatically over. I think it's a great feature, but I would still suggest going to each assignment and quiz and so forth, just to confirm all the dates and times.
Okay. Will do.
And once this is done, it's going to let me view the content. Actually, I must have had more content than I realized. It's taking a while to load, so that's okay. There we go.
Okay.
Then once you get this green check, you just hit view content. And you should have everything to look just like you had in the other course listed up here. I've put a lot of things in here, so it's going to look a little crazy, but
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Now
Okay,
it's going to look,
thank
it's no problem. It's going to look just like you had before. It's not like the migration we did from Sakai. That kind of moves things around a little bit, but this will look just like you had in your sandbox. So.
Very good. Thank you.
No problem. All right, we're just about out of time. I can take maybe another quick question. And if not, that's okay. I really appreciate y'all coming, and I know this is going to be a great semester. We're all trying new things, the students as well. And I just know it's a little stressful for all the changes going on in the world, but we're just hoping that we can kind of make things a little easier for you all in the transition. We appreciate everyone just kind of jumping in. We know it's not easy making changes, but we think this is a good change. So again, if you have any questions, you can email itworkorder@shepherd.edu. You can also email me and Kate with your Brightspace questions. And y'all have a good day. We'll see you next time.